Good evening. Tonight we're going to work on Lesson 16, solve two-step word problems using the standard subtraction algorithm fluently modeled with tape diagrams, and assess the reasonableness of answers using rounding. All right, so now we are going to look at our next word problem here, and we're going to see Zachary's final project for a college course took a semester to write and had 95,234 words. Zachary wrote 35,295 words the first month and 19,240 words the second month. Find the exact number of words written during the remaining part of the semester. Now remember, I said this in an earlier video, because the next part of the question is going to ask us to see if we can estimate and find it reasonable or not. Guys, we first have to find it exactly, what the exact amount, and then we can use estimation to check to see if our answer is reasonable. So how we're going to do this is we're going to set it up as a tape diagram. And we're going to use the side-by-side tape diagram. And we know that in the first part of his semester, the first month, he wrote 35,295 words. And in the second month, he wrote 19,240 words. And this part of the diagram is just going to represent the rest of the month. And this is the part that we do not know how much he wrote for the rest of the remaining part of the semester. But we do know, however, that he wrote this amount of total words. It took the whole course, the whole semester, and this whole thing represents 95,234 words. So this part of the tape diagram is 35,295. The second part of the second month, he wrote 19,240, and the rest we do not know. But we know that this value and this value and this value is all going to equal 95,234. So this is a multi-step word problem. We got to first figure out what the total of these first two parts of the month, this first month and this second month. So we need to add 35,295 plus 19,240. And we're going to add these up. And in the ones, we have 5 ones. And in the tens, we have 13 tens. Put the 3, carry the 1. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is the 500. And 5 plus 9 is 14,000. Put down the 4, carry the 1. And in the 10,000s, we have 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So far, within these two values right here, the first two months of his semester, he wrote 54,535 words. But we still don't know the value of the rest of his semester. So we are going to take this value, which this is the sum of the first month and the second month, and we are going to subtract it from the total. So we have 95,234, take away 54,535, and we're going to subtract these two amounts. So remember, when we are subtracting in a standard algorithm, we want to first regroup and then subtract. So in the ones, is 4 ones, take away 5 ones, we can't do. So we need to go to the tens and take 1 10, and now we're left with 2 tens, and now given 14 ones. But in the tens, you can't take away 2 tens minus 3 tens. You can't do that. So we need to go to the hundreds and take 1 from them, and you're left with 100, and now you're left with 12 tens. So you can subtract 12 tens, take away 3 tens. But in the hundreds, you cannot, 100 take away 500, you can't do. So you need to go to the thousands, take 1 from them, and you're left with 4,000. And back in the hundreds, you're left with 11 hundredths. 4,000, take away 4,000, you can do. And then if you go into the 10,000s, 9 10,000s, take away 5 10,000s, you can do. So this problem is appropriately set up for you to subtract now. So go back to the ones. 14 ones, take away 5 ones is 9 ones. And in the tens, 12 tens, take away 3 tens is 9 tens. And in the hundreds, 11 hundreds, take away 5 hundreds is 6 hundreds. Don't forget your comma. And then in the thousands, we have 4 thousands, take away 4 thousands is 0 thousands. And in the 10,000s, we have 9 10,000s, take away 5 10,000s is 4 10,000s. So this is the missing value. So the rest of his semester of the words that he has written was 40,699 words. Okay, so now we got to round each value to the nearest 10,000 to estimate, to see how many words Zachary wrote during the remaining part of the semester. So we want to see if our answer was reasonable or not. So we are going to round to the nearest 10,000. There's the 10,000 spot. Let's get our rounding symbol. So we look here, look at this information from looking back at our rounding when we did the rounding lessons. That is very close to making this. That's past the midpoint, and this is close to either 30,000 or 40,000, and it's closer to 40,000. All right. So now if we look at this section, and we're says it either close to 10,000 or 20,000, there's that 9, and that's very close to 20,000, so it's going to be rounding up. And then the next one, the 4 in the 10,000s, is it closer to 40,000 or 50,000? If we look at the junk next door there's that 0. It's totally close to 40,000. So now this is how many he wrote as the exact answer, the exact total of how many words he wrote in the whole semester. So let's add up all of these to see if our answer was reasonable. So we've got 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 4 is 100. So it's 100,000 is our estimate. And it's very close to being the exact, which is 95,234. So we would have to say that our answer was reasonable. All right. The next word problem is a local store was having a 2-week back-to-school sale. They started the sale with 36,390 notebooks. During the first week, they sold 7,424 notebooks. And in the second week, they sold 8,967 notebooks. So they want to know how many notebooks were left at the end of the 2 weeks. And then we have to check, was our answer reasonable or not? So we're going to do this with the tape diagram. And because this is what they started with, this is their total, I'm going to show a side-by-side tape diagram. And this whole tape diagram is going to represent 36,390 notebooks. And one part of this tape diagram we're going to label first. And this is going to be 7,424 because that's the first week of the sale that was sold. And in the second week, they sold 8,967, and we do not know the rest at the end of the 2 weeks, so this is going to be what is remaining. And this is the part of the tape diagram we do not know. It's an unknown value. So we know that this part of this diagram plus tape diagram plus this one plus the remaining is all going to equal 36,390. So this tape diagram is showing that we are going to have a multi-step problem here. And the first part is that we're going to add. We're going to add these two parts of the tape diagram. So we have 8,967 plus 7,424. And we start with the ones. 7 plus 4, 11, carry the 1. And this 1 plus 6 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. Put the 3, carry the 1. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 7 is 16. So 16,391 is the missing value. Oh, excuse me. No, it's not the missing value. That is the total of these two parts of the tape. Now we need to take this value and subtract it with the total. So 36,390 take away 16,391. Now remember, when we're doing the standard algorithm of subtraction, we need to regroup and then subtract. So start with the ones. 0 ones take away 1 1. Can't do, so we need to go to take 1 from the 110 from the tens, and now you're left with 8. And you bring the 1 over, so now there's 10 ones, take away 1 1, we can do. But 8 tens take away 9 tens, we can't do, so we need to go to the hundreds and take 1 from them, and you're left with 2. And the tens become an 18 tens. But in the hundreds, you can't take away 200 and minus 300, can't do that. So you need to go to the thousands and take 1 from them, and you're left with 5. And you give that 1 to the hundreds, so now it becomes 12 hundredths. And in the thousands, you can't take 5,000 and 6,000. You can't take those two away from each other, so you need to go to the 10,000s to take 1 away, left with 2. And in the 10,000s, you're left with 15 10,000s. So now you're able to subtract this with no problem because you set it up by regrouping first. So you go with the ones. 10 ones take away 1 1 is 9 ones. 18 tens take away 9 tens is 9 tens. 12 hundredths take away 3 hundredths is 900. And in the thousands, 15,000 take away 6,000 is 9,000. And 2 10,000s take away 1 10,000 is 1 10,000. So you're left with 19,999. And that's over here. 19,999 is your missing value of this tape diagram. All right, now we got to answer the second part. Is your answer reasonable? And how we're going to do that is we're going to estimate. So remember, this is the total that we have of how many notebooks they started with for the sale. So we need to estimate this number and this number and this number to see if it all equals close to this. So let's start with 19,999, and let's do the front end estimation. Let's go to the 10,000s. And is this closer to 10,000 or 20,000? Obviously, if you look at this information here, it's closer to 20,000. And if you look at the next one, front end, look at that. And this over here, is this closer to 8,000 or 7,000? It's definitely, is it closer to 8,000 or 9,000? It's definitely closer to 9,000. And then you have this one over here, and you look next door, and is this closer to 7,000 or 6,000? It's definitely closer to 7,000. And then now you can add these up to see. And you are now 16, carry the 1, 36. So this is your estimated answer, and this is your exact. I would have to say that our answer is definitely reasonable. All right, guys, you're now going to give it a try. You're going to use a tape diagram, and you have to first determine exactly how many downloads during the first 2 quarters of the year. You've got to show a tape diagram, and I want to see the tape diagram tomorrow at school. Then you're going to round each number to the nearest 100 to estimate to see how many downloads occurred during the first 2 quarters of the year. So that previous problem, you're going to estimate those numbers. All right. The next word problem, you're going to find the exact answer, and you're going to use a tape diagram to help you. And I want to see those tape diagrams tomorrow. And then you're going to use estimation to help you see, to round, you're going to round each one of those previous values to the nearest 1,000. And then can add them up and see what you got. Excellent job tonight, guys. We'll practice this skill more tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.